Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Not much happened today. Bitcoin pushed a little bit higher, but it was overall a quiet Saturday, as Saturdays usually are. But still, Bitcoin pushed a little bit higher, emphasizing further the idea that we could already be in this fifth wave. So we have 5 waves up. That's basically what we've been watching for, what we've been waiting for as initial confirmation that a lasting low is in place in wave 4 here on the 5th of July. So the idea that we are still in a bull market is and was and has been absolutely correct. At least there's nothing that would at the moment tell me we have entered a bear market. You know, everybody was, not everybody, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people were negative. Not everybody, absolutely not. There were a lot of good people, good analysts as well, who were still bullish and who understand that you know, that the market mood often is very negative, pessimistic, bearish around market lows. We talked about that down here. You had, you know, the news around Germany selling BTC. Okay, people expected price to go down much lower. Mt. Gox as well, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's not so much about expectations. It's about understanding what the relevant support levels are. And as long as these support levels are holding, we're still bullish, right? So that is the advantage here, regardless of what I tell you is my personal perspective, or because that's often qualitative, yeah, not necessarily objective. There's the objective analysis I give you, and then my own viewpoint, which is what I see as most likely. And my view is that we are still in a bull market, that this is a wave 4 correction, that the 50.6k level is the key level below which I would have to change my perspective. So it's important to understand the difference between my opinion and what the analysis says. But both here, my opinion and the analysis were aligned in that I said we are still in the bull market. That's at least my view until we break below 50,670. I think I just want to make sure everybody understands that you often get these negative news effects, or let's say negative sentiment, bearish sentiment. Crypto Twitter was bearish throughout, toxic place sometimes. When we are close to a market low. And we had enough bullish signals. We had the RSI oversold. Yeah, we talked about that. The box was colorful enough, hopefully, for everybody to see. This is, if you don't know it yet, these are support areas where ideally the price is reversing before we break it, yeah. Because a break of it is also a signal, but it means that it's more bearish than expected at the moment. And throughout the last few months, Bitcoin has been moving within expected parameters, okay? And that is clear because we haven't broken support. So the parameters here on the daily chart have absolutely been met, okay? So that's one thing. Then we talked about bullish divergences. Just want to take a look at the RSI again. The RSI is still picking up steam here, still bullish, and the signals we talked about have been working nicely. They don't necessarily work all the time, but I mentioned it to you back in June that an oversold RSI very rarely hasn't worked in Bitcoin's past. And again, it's worked nicely. Whether this is now a true breakout to 70, 80k or not, the oversold BTC signal was again a great signal. And we had breakouts of trend lines. The MACD is still pushing. There's no sign of a top at the moment on the daily. Okay, its momentum is still going up. So that's still pushing. There's nothing bearish here. And we are still pushing higher in the short term. And what we essentially need to see is a break above this range here. So a break above, I would say 72,000, yeah, 71,900, 72,000, the yellow line. That's the next breakout point. A few weeks ago, we talked about this trend line here, which was a breakout point. The next one would be the yellow line. And based on what we see here is that the fifth wave should still go a little higher. I'd still like it to get sort of to 68.5, 69, 70k. You know, maybe we're even testing this yellow line in wave 5 of 1. I've been highlighting to you from the beginning when we started the rally down here that we need to see 5 waves up to confirm that a 4th wave has bottomed. We have 5 waves now, but I still would like to see the 5th wave push a little bit higher. Does it mean I expect a breakout straight away? Well, it could happen. Yeah, the trend, there's no sign of a top yet, but I would prefer another pullback, possibly another test of the orange support region, forming a higher low in this wave 2 before we go higher in a third wave, then see a fourth wave pullback, then see another fifth wave towards 85, 90K. Yeah. And this roadmap hasn't changed at all. The idea that this is a fourth wave, we're going higher in a fifth wave. All good. There was no reason to panic. Hopefully everybody here was calm in recent weeks, and now we're going up, and we could soon put a top in place here in wave 1, but there is no sign of a top yet. And now let's go to the smaller time frame. Before we do that, quick reminder, I already mentioned it earlier today. I have published just now actually a video about Pepe, because the Twitter community voted for a Pepe video on the channel. So this has been updated only on Twitter, so make sure you check it out if you're interested in this meme coin. You can see they voted. Don't know where the vote is here. Pepe won clearly. Tao didn't make it. And next week you can vote again, and just make sure if you follow us here, only the official account. Yeah. Let's go to the smaller time frame chart then. This is the 1 hour. Yeah. And we see that we mentioned yesterday in one of the updates and signals that we are probably already in the fifth wave, but we hadn't seen a breakout above resistance yet. We now have that more and more. I've taken that white count of the chart that would suggest that we could still be in the fourth wave. See, maybe it was too early. Maybe I have to put it on again. But the bottom line is we haven't fulfilled really the expectations for a fifth wave yet. I'd like it to push a little bit higher towards 68.5K at the minimum, maybe even a little bit higher. But it is a 5-wave move already. Would just like to see it push a little bit higher. When would we have the first signal of a top in place? It would be a break below this initial support zone at 64,180. So this is the scenario to watch at the moment. And we have a wave 1, we have a wave 2. Then we had this, let me just double check here, something. Yeah, this is shifted. Then we had this third wave and fourth wave and fifth wave up. Okay, I mean, is this the correct count? I'm not sure about the micro necessarily. This is the problem when we're dealing with diagonal patterns, because this isn't clearly impulsive. That's the problem. I know a lot of people count it as an impulse, but a lot of people count impulses when they are not impulses. I see that all the time, and then they fail. I know it is a popular opinion that this is a 1-2-1-2 setup. Now, if anybody can explain to me how you can call that a wave 1, I mean, you have to cheat, essentially, right? You have to cheat. There is no, I mean, there are ways, but it's just not a likely scenario, right? It's not the most. See, you can, because you need, if you have a 1-2-1-2 setup, this would need to be an impulse. So it's 3 waves up, right? Absolute mess. I mean, there are ways to do it, but I only see corrective structure. So for me, the most likely scenario is that this is a diagonal pattern, which could still see another fifth wave. I mean, again, maybe the fourth wave is still unfolding. So we can put a question mark on here. You know, this would be an alternative, but with that clear push above previous highs, push above resistance, we are probably already in that fifth wave. So initial support, well, let's zoom in. Nearest support is here, the 66,350 level. A break below it would be the first indication that a top has been struck. In wave A, probably. That's wave A of 5. So we would then be looking for a pullback in wave B. And the initial support region is this one, between 64,180 and 65,930. And from there, a C wave up is possible. Bit unclear what this is exactly at the moment. I mean, it looks like a 5-wave move up again in wave A then probably. Could be wave A of 5. And any break below the red line could indicate that at least wave B of 5 is unfolding, maybe a wider wave 4, in which this is just an ABC, okay? And I might just highlight that in a different color. A, B, see, that's just sort of possible still. I need to mention that possibility. Can't fully rule it out. But I would say probably if we now come down and break yellow B wave support between 64,180 and 65,930, I might already assume that we've topped in 5 waves and that we are coming down in a larger pullback like a wave 2. Now, that being said, we've seen quite bullish structures now in the last few days. And I've posted that yesterday on Discord, and I've highlighted in the first video earlier today that I think the market is changing its face a little bit. We're getting a little bit more bullish. And that is always when we can see like changes on the RSI as we have. When we can see, we need to be very, very sensitive to these changes. That, for example, here, this wave 4 was rather shallow. And things like that, it feels a bit like October last year. I have to mention that, I have to mention that it feels a bit like October last year. And that means, I mean, there is never a guarantee for a pullback. Go with the trend until the end. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? We're watching for signals of a pullback. So far, there isn't one. And all I can share with you is this looks like 5 waves up, but ideally still pushes a little bit higher to get into that region here, starting at 68,550. I hope that helps. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.